So, hello, welcome back. Welcome back to a video where I am almost tempted to say best audiophile reissue batch of the year, but hey, it's February, so. But hey, when you see 2 times Van Morrison, 2 times Bob Marley, 2 times Jimmy Smith in 1 week, that's hard to overdo or to top. So maybe the Audiophile Reissue batch of the year. And yeah, let's get right into it, and let's start with a record that's really important to me, that's really dear to me. And when I learned that this one is coming, I was totally excited. And this opens the new series by Analog Production, the Acoustic 40 series, which had already announced 25 titles, and I think in the end we will see 40 titles. And here we have Van Morrison's Astral Weeks. Astral Weeks, oh my God, I so love this album. Fantastic folk, psych, jazz, blues album from 1968, here in its 45 RPM version in that beautiful high quality gatefold jacket. Yeah, Astral Weeks. When you look up those notorious lists, for example, the top 500 Rolling Stone records of all time, Astral Weeks is always extremely high ranked, and rightfully so, because in my opinion this is an amazing and a wonderful album, and it has been recorded in 2 days. But there is a rumor that there has been a 3rd day, but on that 3rd day nothing happened. In between day 1 and day 2 there has been a morning, very early morning, and they didn't figure out how to do it at that morning, and the rumor is that all those jazz singers say, no, that's not our time to make music. Nevertheless, we see an iconic album with an Van Morrison who uses his voice as for me as the main instrument on that record. Van Morrison singing on Astral Weeks is a dream. It's amazing. It's amazing. What we have here is not an all analog pressing, because the tapes, the analog, the original tapes are damaged, as it seems. So that is maybe, and I'm speculating here now, that might be the reasons why we don't see Moondance and Astral Weeks as an UHQR. But the sound of those records, especially the sound of Van Morrison's voice is amazing. It's brilliant. They really do sound great. You know, I have an US first pressing, even a promo copy, and I compared it, and it smoked it, but my copy is in a really bad shape. So I think it's not legit to do a very serious comparison between those two. So I just mentioned that here. This is my personal impression, but not more. So I'm just showing this reissue release. Yeah, finally as an amazing, wonderful audiophile release, Van Morrison, Astral Weeks. The second one, which is, I think Astral Week is Van Morrison's 2nd album. 2 years later, yeah, 1970, right? He put out his 3rd record, Van Morrison's Moondance. And again, we have an iconic album with, of course, Moondance, the title track, or Glad Tidings, wonderful songs, a wonderful Van Morrison, again at its best. And I think Moondance was a little more successful. Astral Weeks, of course, like so often in music history, when you do something really special, At the beginning, it's not that successful. And Moondance, his next album, is of course in the tradition of Astral Weeks, is a fantastic album. And finally, we had some discussions here in the vinyl room about these two releases. Everybody got quite excited, and we discussed what's the better album, Astral Weeks or Moondance. Yeah, and the result was 50-50. Some said Moondance, some said Astral Weeks. We all agreed that those are both our amazing albums. My choice is a little bit more Astral Weeks, but hey, come on, we're talking two brilliant folk, psych, jazz, blues albums. And yeah, for sure, a Van Morrison at its very, very best. I show you the label, which is quite uncommon for Warner. At least I haven't seen, I don't know if I've seen any, I don't think so, albums with this label. Quite interesting. We have, the labels are the same on the Astral Weeks and the Moondance. Yeah, both are mastered at Chet Kasem's mastering lab, and I would wish he talks more about that mastering lab, because that mastering lab, the console is Doug Sack's all tube-driven legendary mastering console, and the results so far, in my opinion, are quite amazing. I think he should talk and tell us more about that fantastic, brilliant lab. Yeah, and then maybe even more exciting for me, because yeah, I was there when the next two records had been mastered. Here we have Bob Marley's 11th album, Keisha, also in this beautiful, wonderful gatefold album. By the way, I think this backside with the Mariana plant, he needed to change that, at least in Japan. And yeah, as I stated, Keisha, I think Keisha is marijuana. So, and we have a lot of singing about marijuana, and very uplifting, fantastic, all analog in this case, and for the next one too, mastered at Abbey Road Studio. And I was there at the day, I saw the tapes, and it was such an exciting, wonderful day with Chet Kasem, with Ryan Smith, and the master engineer from Analog Production. It was quite something. That was such an amazing day. And now I was able and could listen to the final result, and of course all that memories came back, and brilliant, brilliant. Second album, I think Bob Marley's 12th album, is Uprising. Again in a wonderful gatefold jacket with some really, especially this one here, this one. No, this one. A photo from Bob Marley I really, really do appreciate. We have a lot of Rastafari themes here on that brilliant album. I mean, we have We and Them, we have Zion Train, we have Redemption Song. Great, great, great album by Bob Marley. And overall, when it comes to the sound quality, I'm totally pleased and a bit surprised, although of course we have quite some years later, but still, how close these two releases comes to the amazing UHQR releases, Rastaman Vibration and Exodus. Wonderful. You know, the bass, wow, it goes so deep, and it's so crystal clear, and also, of course, the mood this wonderful reggae music puts you into. Great, 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 great. What a great release. So finally, oh wait, I show you, of course, the beautiful Tough Gong label. I really appreciate that they use this one. Wait, Is that right? Yeah, here you can see that. C tough gong. Yeah, here they are. Here the Bob Marley train comes back into rolling, and let's hope that it doesn't stop and that we. And I'm really positive that we see now soon those missing UHQRs that we all wait for so long. And yeah, keep them coming, chat. Keep them. Can't wait for the other Bob Marleys. They will be so cool. We need them, chat. We need them. Yeah. Van Morrison, Bob Marley, 2 times each. And now we have 2 times Mr. Jimmy Smith comes out on the Acoustic Sounds Verve series as he gets from Blue Note to Verve. We have Bashin and the unpredictable Jimmy Smith. Here is, and now we have full glossy, full shiny gatefold jackets. You have Jimmy Smith, a little essay. And what's so special about Bashin is that we have on one side a big band, and on the other side we have a trio. I read you the musicians of the trio. That's, of course, at the organ we have Jimmy Smith, on the guitar we have Jimmy Warren, and on the drums we have Don Bailey. On the big band we have quite some, and very interesting mix. Funny that we have some versions of Walk on the Wild Side with the big band, and I'm an old cowhand, which is from Rio Grande, or the Rio Grande. Wonderful, relaxing, bluesy, uplifting jazz album. Again, mastered by Matthew Lucens on the mastering lab. And yeah, Jimmy Smith at its best. Interesting is that on the jacket here, on this jacket, you also can see or read, Jimmy Smith performs by special permission of Blue Note. So it wasn't that official, probably, the change from Jimmy Smith from Blue Note to Verve. Amazing. Really cool album by Jimmy Smith. We have yet another Jimmy Smith. So, Organ Grinder. This time not the unpredictable, this time we have the incredible Jimmy Smith. And what's also incredible when it comes to this beauty, to this album, in the gatefold jacket, it's with Kenny Burrell. And these two do a great job together. Having Kenny Burrell and Jimmy Smith together on the drums is Grady Tate. So we have a trio. A wonderful bluesy, jazzy experience. These 2 records, you really also, even with the big band, put it on, lay back and enjoy. I think that's how I can describe those 2 impressively great sounding albums. Enjoy, have a little holiday on your sofa and relax. Wonderful. And you know, what I did with those 6 records is I first listened to a Van Morrison, then I took a Bob Marley, and then I took a Jimmy Smith, and then second round, because all have 2 records, I listened to Van Morrison, then Bob Marley, and then again Jimmy Smith. Yeah, what a day! What a day! What a batch! So happy to have these beautiful releases now in my shelf. Okay, I think enough said for this time. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye.